going.
Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order. If we could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I apologize. I just realized that we have a board member that needs to call in before we do roll.
Your mic's not on.
Are you sure?
Well, it's really low then.
Hi, Mr. Jarrett. Can you hear us?
I can.
Okay.
Awesome.
Can he do the Pledge of Allegiance by himself?
We're going to call that rote. So roll call, Mr. Scott.
Sure. Mrs. Albright.
Here.
Mrs. Bell.
Here.
Mr. Jarrett.
Here.
Mrs. Leone.
Here.
Mrs. Olson.
Here.
Mr. Rittenhouse. Here. Mr. Scott here. Mr. Strobel.
Here.
And Mrs. Thompson.
Here.
Okay, Mr. Scott said that he can't hear me through the mic. Is that the general consensus in the room?
Which just sounds like it's light.
Yeah.
You're a little light.
All right, I'm going to use my outdoor voice then. Procedures for public participation. That sounds like something's happening. Okay. Prepared statements that are to be read to the board. Should have a copy presented to the board president prior to their being addressed. Comments on agenda items will be made by rising and approaching the microphone, stating your name and address, signing in on the sheet provided. You'll be granted up to 3 minutes to address the board. Your 3-minute time limit will start when you begin to speak. When 3 minutes are over, you'll be asked to be seated. Any item that is not on the agenda, as well as agenda items acted upon, comments can be made at the designated section at the end of the agenda. So, all right. So right now we started with the special voting meeting, which only has 2 agenda items about the budget. So if you have comments about anything else, we're going to let that wait until the committee of the whole. So do we have any presentations by the public on agenda items for the special voting meeting? Okay, hearing none. We have consent items 2A, 1 and 2. Can I get a motion for that?
I'll make it. Okay.
Can I have a second?
I'll make it.
Okay.
Again.
So we had a budget meeting last week, and what you see here is the general fund budget amount that is proposed. This meeting is to this vote is to put a proposed budget through so that there is 30 days of comment period for folks to give their input on the budget. This is not what we're voting on. This millage is not the final word. That will be when we vote in June. So this is just the proposed budget. I want to make that clear. Anybody here have any comments before we vote on that?
No.
Okay, can I have a vote?
Mrs. Albright.
Yes.
Mrs. Bell.
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett.
Yes.
Mrs. Leone.
Yes.
Mrs. Olson.
Yes.
Mr. Rittenhouse.
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Mr. Strobel.
Yes.
And Mrs. Thompson.
Yes.
9 yeses.
Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn the special voting meeting?
Motion.
I got a second?
Second.
All right. We're going to adjourn the special voting meeting. Give me like a second. Do we need to start a new